Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. The first step in fixing the state's ramping crisis will take effect overnight, but it's being met with concern the health system isn't ready. It comes as the government again faces the firing line, with Tasmania's economy taking a tumble.
The bold plan to ban ramping closer to reality. From tomorrow, the timer is set. Patients to be offloaded into the emergency department within the hour.
For too long, it has gone on that ambulances have been ramped, and that's put the community at risk. So tomorrow we are ripping off the Band-Aid.
Paramedics backing the controversial care transfer targets amid growing frustration over time stuck at our hospitals.
Demoralising, it's stressful. And it makes coming to work very difficult.
It is, however, a protocol unveiling a health union divide. ANMF Tasmania fearing without additional resources it won't make a difference.
They will also still be waiting lengthy periods in our emergency departments and for inpatient admissions.
We'll continue consulting with our nurses and doctors and our health professionals to ensure that this works.
Ramping not the government's only post-election headache. Tasmania's economic momentum taking a dive, citing back on 4 of 8 ComSec State of the State report indicators.
I'm pleased that Tasmania is certainly holding its own in what is very challenging global and national circumstances.
It's another economic blow for the government, with Labor raising the alarm over a 4-month delay to the upcoming budget, warning a September delivery could spell disaster.
I've kicked the can down the road for many years now. There's been no economic reform.
It's not unusual in an election year to have a budget delivered later in the year.
But it's not actually so common, especially when government hasn't changed hands. Potentially rocky waters ahead. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Your next power bill will likely be lower than expected, with more cost of living relief on the way. The government delivering on its election promise, offering a one-off $250 power bill rebate for all households.
Very welcome. It'll help us do some improvements to our living standards here.
This is one of the levers we have to pull, and we have pulled it hard, and this is a $74 million commitment from the Tasmanian state government into the cost of living issues.
Small businesses will also be eligible for a $300 energy rebate before the end of this financial year. Tasmania's car lovers have been given a treat with another show on the calendar. Spoiled for choice, motorheads feasted their eyes on a fleet of vintage and modern vehicles, with organisers keen to keep the good times rolling.
Fueled up for a good cause, Kingston's new community car show drawing hundreds of dedicated rev heads.
It's just nice to sort of come up to these car shows and meet the community and sort of, build that connections and do a bit of networking and meet like-minded people.
Enthusiasts putting their pride and joy on display. Over 100 vehicles parading the hub, from Mustangs and Corvettes to Chevys and everything in between.
Gets us out of the house, meet some people, look at some cars, and just a nice morning and afternoon out.
Organised by Kingston Neighbourhood House, the group hoping the event will drive up donations for services offered to families and individuals in the community.
And we thought having a car show like this would share our message with the community, bring in a new cohort of people.
The event also giving owners the chance to showcase some of their finest work. Tony Barron's handmade open wheeler named Zeus drawing plenty of interest.
So I built it in 1 year. It was 3,500 hours crammed into that year. The whole thing was built at home in the shed at home.
Organisers are confident today's success will see them host car shows on an annual basis. Rebecca Gaidaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
It was a crowded house at Brixhibition over the weekend, with throngs of people packing in to view the latest creations. While children delighted in many of the concepts, the adults were equally as enthralled.
Now in its 11th year, Brixhibition still manages to draw a crowd keen to check out the new constructions. While the Spirit of Tasmania ships are still being built in Finland before their completion in 2025, These models provided an idea of what to expect. Gary King spent 2 years building this imposing home, which many mistook for Buckingham Palace.
Having worked in the building industry for many years, I worked on a lot of Victorian houses, and these are the compilation of all the Victorian houses I've worked on in my past.
European icons also featured in the 33 exhibits on display, much to the delight of 4-year-old Lucas, who was keen to point out this Parisian landmark.
It's an Eiffel Tower.
What's your favourite here today?
Seeing the Eiffel Tower.
Both the small and big kids enamoured over exhibits. The motorbikes and fast cars were a crowd puller. Even these two had stars in their eyes. President of the Tasmanian brick enthusiasts, Ken Drager, says he's not surprised that Brexhibition continues to be a crowd pleaser.
It's so flexible, you can almost build anything you like with Lego.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
And the 2024 Men's and Women's Tasmanian Open has concluded at the Launceston Golf Club. The 3-day event attracted a field of more than 80 competitors from around the country for the 54-hole competition. Tasmania's Georgia Bailey completed a popular win at her home club, while New South Welshman Alex Edge led from start to finish, finishing 9 under par.
We've had some high-class golf from both the amateur and professional side of the fields, and it's been complemented by the weather that Launceston's turned on for us here.
Cameron Pollard took out the inclusive championship with an 18-shot win.
Good evening. Hobart 20 as expected today, Launceston 23, Devonport and Burnie both 19 degrees. There were cloudy conditions about the west of Tasmania today, with mostly clear conditions elsewhere with no significant rainfall to report. Friendly Beaches 21, Ouse 20, Low Head, Wynyard and Grove all 19, Flinders Island, St Helens and Marai Island reaching 18, 16 the top for King Island and Strawn, Lyowini 14 degrees. Cloudy seen about the west coast today, pushing through Bass Strait, with mostly clear conditions across the majority of the state. Now, that low-level cloud about the west coast of Tasmania is extending over the Bight, associated with a large high to the north of the state. Tomorrow, the large high-pressure system is still to the north of Tasmania, but is slowly moving to the east. Northwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots, increasing up to 30 knots about the south in the afternoon. Southwesterly swells building to 3 metres in the south and 2.5 metres in the west. A strong wind warning is in place for coastal waters between east of Flinders Island to Wineglass Bay and also from southeast Cape to Low Rocky Point. Now, Hobart will wake to a sunny morning, 21, partly cloudy in Dover 20, cloud also in Ouse 21 there. Launceston 19 with partially cloudy skies. Devonport and Scottsdale also cloudy, sharing a top of 18. 18 and cloudy for Burnie and Stanley, showers likely in Strawn 17. A bit of cloud for St Helens 20, mostly sunny conditions for Swansea also 20, Ross 19 degrees. Tuesday, light showers about the west becoming more frequent during the afternoon. Fine elsewhere until showers develop about the north and far south during the evening. Wednesday, statewide showers more frequent about the west, easing and contracting to the west and far south in the afternoon. The forecast for Anzac Day on Thursday, showers about the west with light showers about the remainder of the south. Looking now at mainland conditions for Monday. Sunny in Adelaide and Alice Springs tomorrow, 25. A shower or two expected for Brisbane, also 25, 24 the top for Sydney and 24 and partly cloudy in Perth.
And that's all your news for this weekend. Thank you for joining us. Kim and the team will be back tomorrow. Good night.